Welcome back to the channel and day 2 of the Sequoia detail. So you saw in the last episode we did the engine bay, welcome back to the channel and day 2 of the Sequoia detail. So you saw in the last episode that we did the engine bay, the wheel wells, and the trunk jams, and also the roof of the Sequoia as well. That thing was absolutely disgusting. But I think on today's episode, I'm going to tackle the exterior. Let me get the camera flipped around. The exterior of this thing. The guy who detailed this vehicle before used some type of oil-based dressing on all the plastic trim, and it rained and then it got up, splattered up on the paint. It's like that there, and then all along the bottom, and then all the crevices in between the window seals and the door need to be clean. You see in between the window, I don't know, all up there. So that's the goal for today, is to get the exterior of this thing cleaned and possibly start on the interior. I do have to remove some PPF. As you can see, it's pretty damaged. I will be replacing probably all of even the door cups eventually, be replacing those. But I'm gonna leave them on for right now until I'm ready to replace them, so that way they don't get scratched and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on day 2. Now I'm not doing the top because in episode 1 I did the top by itself because it was so bad, and it probably took me 30-45 minutes to just do the top, so I didn't want the soap to be sitting on the rest of the vehicle that entire time. So I went ahead and just did the top by itself. Alright, I was gonna wait until I got done washing it to do the door jams, because I'm gonna have to pull the steamer out to get some of it out, but I decided to go ahead and get the bulk of it out right now. Alright, so I just did the gas cap and got the majority of it off. All of this, I don't know if you can see it with the shadows, feels like tree sap, so I'm gonna have to get the steamer out to get all of that junk off. It's super sticky, but yeah, let's move on. Alright, got done with the door jams and the gas cap and all that. So what I'm gonna do is divide this thing up into sections because it's so big and there's a lot of detail in it. So I'm probably gonna do like the front clip, wash it, and then maybe one side, the other side, and then the trunk. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and do section by section, so I'm not going back behind myself, is I'm going to go ahead and clay bar the vehicle. Normally I would probably use a clay mitt on most vehicles, but since these people parked this this thing underneath trees, the paint's very rough and very contaminated, so I'm actually going to use a clay bar. Also, don't forget, if you're using a clay bar, make sure you're going to be polishing afterwards, because a clay bar is abrasive and will leave marring on the paint. So you can use something like a clay towel or a clay mitt if you're not polishing, but make sure if you're using a clay bar, make sure you're polishing. Alright, finished up the wash in the clay bar. So next I'm going to spray the vehicle down again and then use Adam's Polish's iron remover and get rid of all the iron deposits. Alright, I figured the back would have quite a bit because I could see it, a lot of iron deposits back here, and you see all the purple. That's the iron remover reacting with the metal particles in the paint, and that's how you know it's working, as it turns this purple color. It's not awful, definitely seen a lot worse, but it's definitely an important step to do when you're detailing, especially when you're ceramic coating, to get this thing looking as good as possible, especially on white and silver colored vehicles, because those orange specks really stand out against the white paint. You can see down here, pretty bad down there, but I'm gonna let it sit for a couple minutes. It's pretty shady right here, and also it's, I don't know, 60 degrees, so it's pretty chilly. I will spray down the vehicle. I mist it a couple times just to keep it wet. All right, so the customer requested that I remove the factory installed door edge PPF on this vehicle. I'm going to remove it from the left rear door first, and then I'm going to have a conversation with the customer and see if he wants me to remove all of them. They're honestly all looking pretty bad, and just going to offer to replace it whenever I do the frontal PPF. But I'm going to be using my steamer. Let me get the water out of it. My steamer and a little plastic razor. Hopefully this will come off fairly easy, but let's get started. Lot easier than I was expecting. So one of the reasons that they wanted me to take it off was it was already kind of damaged. You can tell this, well, maybe not, but this door has gotten opened into something, and it's a little dented right there, and you can kind of see they scratched the paint off the end of the door. So the customer wanted me to take the PPF off and see if I can maybe touch up those spots where it's not as noticeable. But I think all of them probably need to be taken off, as well as the door cup ones, and I will be replacing those as well. They just look kind of dirty and dingy. All right, so you just saw me take the PPF off the door edge. It's getting kind of late in the day. I may start on the interior. I may at least do a quick vacuum and dusting and see what all needs to be done, and kind of get my plan of attack for the interior. It's not too bad. Let me show you. The customer also did request, whenever I do the frontal PPF, that this area right here, where it's very common, for some reason Toyotas, they have super thin paint right there, and the more you kick it, it's very, very common that the paint will wear and chip off right there. So I will be doing a PPF along the door seal as well. So the interior is not terrible. The seats are kind of just a little dingy, and leather's not supposed to be shiny. It's hard to see right now with the light, but the instrument cluster has some scratches on it. I'm going to try to get out. The climate control screen has a couple scratches on it that I want to try to get out. And overall though, it just needs a good cleaning, and I will be adding System X interior protection on pretty much everything. Vinyl, leather, rubber, carpet, headliner. They want every square inch. There's a couple spots, speaking of headliner, there's one spot right there, and then there's one spot right there that I'm gonna try to get out. But if y'all are detailers, headliners can be very, very tricky, very delicate. You can't get them too saturated. See, the people who owned this previous had 3 kids, so I mean, it's gonna get dirty. But overall, it's not bad. It's just needs a nice clean. All right, I'm gonna wrap up episode 2 of the Sequoia detail there. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. That way you can find out why I regretted saying that the interior was not that bad. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Episode 3 will be coming out next week. That one, it's all about the interior. So be sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching.